Guess who's back?
Do you guys miss me?
Today's video is going to be a little bit different.
So we've done a lot of things I wish I knew videos on our channel from our perspective only. Today, we're going to dive in a little bit and do a client perspective view of our clients that have moved here from out of state.
In the last few years. So the first two perspectives I want to share with you are two sets of clients that came from California. California. One is a younger single guy and the other is a younger married couple. And so things that they underestimated was how much the weather can change day to day or quickly change in a single day.
Yeah, so like a good example would be if you're at the lake, almost every day during the summer, about 3:30, 4:30, a little storm rolls in over the hills and we'll get a light sprinkle for a good 30 minutes. Sometimes it's great because it clears off the lake and all the people out there and the chaos goes away, and then you still have a couple more hours with a nice empty lake.
Yeah. How dry it is, so needing chapstick.
And lotion.
Very important. Wind is mild to wild.
Mild to wild for sure.
Yeah, the wind here can be pretty crazy.
A light jacket, always, I would say, like an outer shell, kind of like a windbreaker. It doesn't have to be from the 90s with MC Hammer style, but a nice windbreaker that is actually going to cut the wind, because you could go out in the morning and have dead steel, nothing, and then 30-mile-an-hour winds by the afternoon.
Yeah, and even if it's warm out, it gets cold fast.
Colorado does have a temperament.
Yeah, it definitely works in like Wellington, going up to Wyoming, but Fort Collins still gets it pretty. These guys, both, I should also mention, both clients are now living in Fort Collins, so this is from a their new Fort Collins perspective. They also said no Tesla superchargers in Fort Collins.
Which is somewhat true. So the only supercharger that is going to be, well, I guess it's I-25 and between Loveland and Fort Collins is going to be the closest supercharger. There are multiple charging stations that are going to be the level 2 charging stations for the Teslas around Fort Collins. But if you're looking for a true supercharger, the closest one is going to be at near the airport between Loveland and Fort Collins. And then the next one is going to be at the Buc-ee's, of course, on the Johnstown exit.
Yep. Did you say Wellington as well?
Oh, I did
Wellington
not.
also has them too, but I mean, who's going up there? I'm just kidding. I love Wellington. Traffic on I-25 being caused by accidents instead of congestion.
Yeah, and right now, a lot of the accidents are occurring because there's a redirect of the flow of traffic, because we just went from a two-way, or I guess it would be a four-way highway interstate to a six-way now with a HOV and express lane. So once all that construction is done here in the next couple of years, we're not going to see that much. So like I would already say here in Fort Collins, we definitely have seen a decrease in the traffic congestion due to accidents, just because they've already finished that section. Getting a little further south when you're heading to Denver from northern Colorado cities of Loveland, Fort Collins, Johnstown, etc., like that's when you're going to really hit it, because you're still seeing a 2-lane going each direction with barriers on both sides. So if there's an accident, for personnel to get in there to clear it out, it's a nightmare, because there's nowhere to go to get out of the way for them to clear it.
Right.
So hopefully that is...
They usually have to come from the other side, I feel like.
Yeah, where there's still flow. So hopefully here in the next couple of years, that's completely gone, because the interstate will be completed with 3 lanes going each direction, north and south.
Yeah, which always baffles me though, because like when I go back and visit my family in Washington, I'm like, there's literally 4 lanes on each side.
Which is crazy.
And then there's like, bridges over it with their own, like all these stretches of interstates and highways, and then Fort Collins is like...
Yes, that's
it's just like a 2-lane. Like most of the time I've lived here, now it's 3, but
like Dallas,
still,
Texas, it's
so
a double-decker
tiny.
interstate, like 610 going around the city. It's
crazy.
like 4 or 5 lanes below and above. But the unfortunate part too for Colorado is we have one major interstate that runs north to south, and that's kind of the major traveling corridor for Colorado. So I-25, it is going to get hectic at times, with especially the influx of people moving here.
Yeah, all you guys. I'm just kidding. Also, they said that there is an importance of having an all-wheel drive car with snow rating or snow tires.
Yep. So you don't necessarily need to have snow tires. If you're a new driver in the snow, it's definitely going to help you out a ton.
Yeah.
An all-wheel drive car, it'll get you everywhere and anywhere. But I mean, honestly, front-wheel drive, yep, that is very doable. There's going to be maybe 4 to 5 days out of the entire year that we get a storm so bad that a front-wheel drive car cannot drive. But at that time, that's when they're shutting down schools and businesses are closing early, etc. You get to go home from work, but it doesn't happen that often.
Right.
People run into the problem with rear-wheel drive cars, which leads us into the next thing. With both of these these clients being from California, out in these warmer states, luxury cars to them, their luxury is going to be these wheel-wheel drive like Corvettes and fancy Ferraris and like all these kind of cars that you don't see in Colorado because it's not practical.
No. It's not the vibe.
It's not the vibe, and it's just not practical. You can't get anywhere. It looks great and nice with that brand new 2025 Corvette when you can drive it like 3 days a year. During the summer and whatnot, you don't want to drive it in the rain.
3 days a year.
Look, it was a little exaggeration,
Okay.
but
I was like, we're telling people that it's sunny 300 plus days a year. You can't
I'm
say
just
that.
saying, like their luxury car, it's not getting out much.
Right. They
Our
stick
luxury
out
car,
like a sore thumb here. Like when
Yeah.
you see one, it's not like in Washington. Everyone had a Tesla, and here it's like, I mean, it's getting more and more popular,
getting more,
but
but
it's not the same.
Audis, Subarus,
Toyotas,
BMWs, all the high end on those. You're gonna get an all-wheel drive. You're gonna get all the luxury packages, kind of like my truck.
Oh yeah. They also talked about luxury goods. And so I just think about how Colorado's so casual, and we called it Colorado luxury, where instead of having like the Corvette, you have the 90,000 Toyota Sequoia,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
Or, instead of the designer clothing, you have like Patagonia and Kavu, and like those are so expensive.
So expensive.
So-
I actually call them Patagonia princesses because I'm like, dang, I have high school kids that I coach. They're walking in with their $400 duffel bag that says Patagonia on the side of it. And I'm like, you better watch it. I might have a new bag by the end of practice.
That's so funny. These are some things that these folks from California did expect based on research. Now, this specific couple used our YouTube channel to do a lot of research. So when I asked them, hey, like, what are some things you didn't expect? They're like, that was kind of a hard question because of using your channel before we moved here. But things they were expecting based on the research they did was easy access to mountains and nature. I know they are huge fans of Estes Park and love being so close to it. It's less diverse here. They were prepared for that, which then leads to less restaurant options compared to larger cities and coastal cities. Lower cost of living, slower pace of life. That's one of my favorite parts of moving here. And less job opportunities.
And the reason that we have less job opportunities is because we don't have anything that is driving people to come here economically. We don't have headquarters to Google, to Amazon, to anything like that. That's huge. People are actually just moving here because they love the lifestyle here in Northern Colorado and want to be here. Since 2020, we've seen a huge influx on people coming here because of the opportunity to work remote and from home. So still obtaining their jobs from East Coast, West Coast, and whatnot with that same pay and not having to change much lifestyle there. They can have the opportunity to live here in Northern Colorado.
It's pretty cool.
I love it.
I always thought of, I guess, always just presumed it being a con because I came from Washington, so literally everything is there. But then when you really think about why is Fort Collins so different, it's because people all move here for a similar commonality
of they want to be here.
Wanting to be here, not like a job, which I think is cool. Okay, so the next sweet family moved here from Virginia Beach, and they now live in Fort Collins. And so I think knowing where they come from helps with some perspective, the different perspectives we're going to share. So she wished she knew how kind and wonderful the people here were, which I thought was super sweet.
No, that's a huge big deal. I think that we take that for granted every day.
Yeah.
So I had a little stint where I got to move to downtown Chicago for 11 months, and I would do simple things like holding the door open for somebody coming in behind me, and they'd be like, give me this crazy look like, you're not from around here. And I'm like, why do you say that? And they're like, people don't hold doors.
That's weird.
I'm a very big people person, and I didn't really meet a ton of people in those 11 months besides my buddies' med school friends and people I worked with. Outside of that, it was not like running into random people, and especially because we walk and commute everywhere down there, and buses and public transportation. Did not meet very many people outside of the circles that we already knew getting into that situation.
Dang, yeah, that's crazy. I guess also coming from Washington, people are pretty grumpy there.
Because there's not enough sun. I'd be sad too.
Well, and they're just,
rainy.
Yeah. So then she also mentioned the special and calming vibe that everyone is super chill, direct quote, that cars drive slower, less road rage, and middle fingers, which I would agree with for sure.
Yeah.
But you've mainly lived here.
Yeah. I mean, I guess...
From Washington, people are... I mean, I don't know. Driving down to Denver, though, people get a little whack.
I'm kind of a crazy driver myself, so I'm the one that's like...
Yeah.
Pedal to the metal.
Yeah. And the last thing she said was that... Well, actually, a couple things. She wished she'd pulled the trigger sooner to moving here. I think she was which is good, like heavily researching, making sure it was the right thing, but definitely had a lot of, I think, anxiety and hesitancy about it. And so I think now that she's been here, she's like, I wish I'd just done this sooner. She's mentioned that the yellow lights are short, which, you think?
She's probably got a running a red light ticket or whatnot.
Probably.
I've tried to use that once before. I was down in Texas and
so
I
funny.
literally was like, told the officer, man, that yellow light just felt really short. And he's like, well, where are you from? I said, Colorado. He's like, they have yellow lights there too, son. So,
that is so
I think
funny.
it might all be perspective.
That's so funny. Okay, and the last thing she said, which I don't really have much perspective on because I only do indoor plants and haven't ventured outside yet. She said gardening is hard. It's like learning a foreign language and it's very challenging, which I believe with like the way our ground is.
Yeah, no. So our freezes, it's a big deal. So we used to say anytime Mother's Day, that's kind of like the day that you could plant and be safe. We still are starting to see and experience a freeze post Mother's Day. So we're trying to hold off a few more weeks later. So our grow time outside is very short. So a lot of people that are very big into outdoor gardening and whatnot, they start inside, get all their starters going, plant pots, do whatever they need in controlled environment before actually placing them outside. If we get like a light little freeze, you'll see a lot of people cover it with sheets or plastic just to keep the frost off of the plant, and you have no problem. They do okay with the cold. It's just that frost that will actually kill that plant. So I know a little bit. My grandma taught me a little bit of gardening. I got 2 thumbs and one of them's green.
Isn't the soil being like clay makes it difficult though? Too?
So I guess a lot of people here too, I guess I've taken that for granted. A lot of people do raised garden beds so that you can control all of the soil.
Yeah.
So planting in the ground, yes, that's going to be a little bit difficult unless you are really prepping that area and that dirt and tilling in fresh dirt, fresh nutrients, everything like that. But what you see a lot around here and which
raised
helps
garden beds for sure.
with freezing is going to be the raised garden bed. And it's sexy in your backyard. Like,
it looks
looks
nice.
like you took the time to really invest yourself in your property. So
Yeah, totally. All right, this next couple is a younger retired couple from Delaware. And so
I can't wait until I'm young and retired.
I know.
Semi-retired. I want to be 45 and semi-retired. Like, continue to work because I love doing what I do, but not working because I have to because we're in like the grind.
That's not that far for you.
Oh,
45.
I'm 26. Just joking. I'm 37, everybody. So that's all right. But I look good.
I thought you were 30. Yeah. Okay. So she mentioned the dry air. And I think really like where this comes from, because I think a lot of this is like not realizing how it, like you hear, oh, Colorado's dry. But like once you're in it, it's like, oh, it's like dry.
Like if you don't lotion every day, I will have ashy knuckles and elbows, knees. Like you have to stay on top of that. Your lips, once they get chapped, it's like a recovery, like 3-4 days of like solid chapstick all the time.
Yeah.
But I mean, a lot of people have humidifiers built into the furnace. It's pretty inexpensive. A cost-effective is what I was trying to say. A cost-effective fix to have a humidifier installed to your furnace so that during the winter when it is in these dry months, you don't wake up with bloody noses and dried out sinuses and everything like that. And so that's definitely a huge plus that we kind of forget about.
Yeah. I honestly now it makes me think I want a humidifier in our furnace.
No, absolutely. So then you don't have to see like that portable humidifier like, sitting in the corner and taking up space.
Which I do have one for my plant babies and it's pretty cute.
Oh, jeez.
But so then with the dry air, she talks about needing to carry water everywhere, adjusting to the elevation and the bright sun, which I've never been a sunglasses girl. I grew up in Washington, so like yes, it's sunny, but it's never like that sunny. And like walking in the snow without sunglasses when I'm out with my dogs,
miserable.
I'm like, I literally am like. I can't see anything.
I'm very sensitive eyes, so I started in college wearing sunglasses and I wear them everywhere I go.
Yeah, it's like a newer thing for me to have to like remember them. She also mentioned how nice the people are. And
well, I mean, look at us.
Being nice.
Does it get nicer than us? We are nice people.
Yes. She talked about the medical community being so caring, which I thought was really encouraging. Traffic is not bad, except for I-25. So that's our second set of people that have said that. Housing prices being high. So obviously that is relative to where you've come from. And what's crazy is like, because like in Washington, the main reason I would say housing prices are high is because of the job opportunity. But here it's like, it's really because people just want to be here, which is cool.
Quality of life, you can't put
Quality
a price
of
on
life, yeah. Healthy lifestyle. I mean, everyone moves here for basically the same reason, which is cool. And then motor vehicle, it's not all in one place. So where you...
So Department of Revenue is going to be different. That's going to be where you get your license plates. It's a very big confusion. You see it every time you go to get a plate renewal when you go to the office of someone in there trying to get their driver's license. It would be so great if it was in the same community, like
the same building.
The same building.
Same part of town.
Yes. Same county building. They're all county buildings. Yeah. So it would be very nice if you could just do it all at once at the same place. But without a doubt, it never fails. There's always a person that is in there to get their driver's license, and everybody kind of looks and is like,
wrong place. Yeah. Okay, next set. This is a young family from Florida who moved to, they moved to Fort Collins. They moved to like Fossil Lake Ranch. So that's like Windsor, Timnath, Fort Collins area. So something that was shocking to her, she said it's not a reason she wouldn't have moved here, but just something to adjust to, is that it gets dark at 4:30 p.m.
Hold it! It does get dark at 4:30 p.m., but that is only during daylight savings during the winter. So don't let that scare you away. We're not like in Alaska where it's like dark for 20 hours at a time and you get a little bit of sunlight. Our summers are still bright until about 9:15, where you can actively be doing things, so the days feel very long. Yeah. So because we're agriculture based, and we used to be very agriculture focused, those times for the daylight savings we're still here for that. So,
but I also feel like, don't you think like having the true seasons is part, because like the solstice is really like December 21st is the longest day of the year, truly, right?
Yes.
Is that, and I don't know if that's true in every state.
I'm not sure.
I don't know, but anyway. Yeah, so, already it's January 28th, and it's now not dark until after 5, which is great.
Yeah, at least 5:30, 5:45.
It really wasn't, I feel like it just like, I feel like life's whizzing by right now.
Changes.
But it was,
with daylight savings and then that falling back 1 hour, and then it just gets everything, like, it's a shocker to the body and the system of like, wow, it's 4:30, like the day feels so long, but you're like 7 o'clock and you think it's like midnight. But
honestly, I kind of loved it because I was in my first trimester and I wanted to go to bed early.
You had a reason to go to sleep. You're like, it's dark outside, AJ, I'm going to bed.
I'm like, I'll always love to get pregnant in the winter from now on. Or go into the winter pregnant.
Well, since you want 12 babies, I think you got a few years to do that.
I don't think I'm going to be able to have 12. Okay. AJ's only giving me 5 years. I can't
You're going to pop out 6.
5 years.
You're going to have Irish twins. Fertility drugs to pop out like 3 at a time.
That's so funny. Okay. Next thing they said was how expensive it is to get their tags and registration for their car, which when I bought my Subaru, I was shocked at how much I paid. It was a lot.
But do you know why, though, Izzy?
No.
Okay, so we do a lot of tax breaks in other places, so taxes aren't so high there, so that at the end of the day, you're still going to pay your money. They're going to get what they need. The government's going to get what they need. So they're breaking it up, and they're adding more to the registration for a vehicle versus taxing other things in different areas. So, for instance, you're going to have like in Oregon, really cheap plates and registration for your vehicles, recreational vehicles, I believe, in like either Oregon or Montana or something like that. You don't even pay a registration fee just to get your tags and whatnot, but they're making it up in other taxes and other categories. So, to each his own on that one.
Yeah. The next thing that she mentioned is not being used to having a lot of independent bills. So your water, sewer could be one company, electric a different company, trash another company, gas a different company. Mm-hmm. So, I guess I never paid those bills until I moved to the state and lived on my own. So I don't know any different, but...
Izzy doesn't know what bills are.
No, that's not true.
Regardless, where we have a lot of discrepancy and different companies is going to be on kind of the borders of the counties. So Weld County and Larimer County is where it really hits a big twist, because then you have REA Electric and whatnot. So like in Loveland, City of Loveland is going to be in control of your water, your sewer, your electric, and your trash. So everything's pretty
City
much
Fort
in
Collins
one.
Is kind of moving in that direction,
City
except for
Fort Collins
gas.
Gas is Excel.
Yeah.
That's everywhere. But like Johnstown right now, Excel still their electric.
But in Wellington, it's Black Hills.
Yeah.
Which isn't that like South Dakota or something?
Well, there's Black Hills in South Dakota, but it's just the energy company.
Okay.
So like Northeast Fort Collins on the east side of I-25, that's going to be Black Hills Energy as well. Mm-hmm. So where you have those discrepancies,
there are a lot of companies.
Where you're on the outskirts of the actual city or like bordering counties.
Yeah, but I think people get a little especially when we're getting closer to closing time, is you can't sign up for the wrong thing because they know your address and know which, so it's really not, but it can be an adjustment. And it's funny because another couple from Florida also told us the same thing. So clearly Florida does it where it's all kind of
lumped together.
She also mentioned the last couple things was that there's no more bugs, which I hear from a lot of clients from the further southeast, and then get shocked all the time from the static.
Which is new to me because I do get shocked and whatnot, but I guess I didn't relate that
Think
to
about it.
like the dryness
It's like
or
to do
anything
with
like that.
yeah.
Things you wish you knew. Now you can't say that you don't know. We just shared the perspective of clients that recently just moved to Northern Colorado so you can make the informed decision when making your move. Don't be afraid to reach out to myself, Zach Jordan, or Izzy Olson via phone, text, email, however you'd like. We're here for you to answer any of your questions and make your transition as smooth as butter.
As butter.
Until next time, peace.